Oilersnation Radio coming at you. Bag Milk here. Rick, Tyler, Liam on the beat, Dan on the screen. Gang's all here. We got a lot to talk about. Not a lot of games this week to talk about.
Don't they play like 2 times in the next 2 weeks?
After playing 7 in 14 days.
Is that what it was?
Because they played 4 on the road and then they just had 3 last week, right?
Yep.
Sure. Why do they hate us?
So there you go. 7 in 14 days.
So we got the All-Star break coming. The Oilers have their bye week, I imagine, mixed in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think so.
A lighter schedule coming up.
Yeah.
As we do every week, we're going to start off the podcast with a delicious debate for our friends at Oodle Noodle. 18 locations and counting, with the newest one down in Calgary. If you've been there, let Oodle Noodle know. Hit them up. Oodle_noodle on Instagram. Oodle Noodlegram. Or sorry, that was on Twitter. Oodle Noodlegram on Instagram. Go check that out. It's Wanye and me behind the scenes on that one. So you just want to talk to me and Wanye. There you go. There's another way to do it.
You can also find them on the World Wide Web.
Mm-hmm. Oodlenoodle.ca. Mm-hmm. That's where you go.
On the World Wide Web.
That's what they say in commercials on the radio.
They do.
The World Wide Web with, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name with the English voice.
Is it Liam?
Maybe one day, Jay, if you're listening, I'm available.
Yep. I voiced a Oodle Noodle commercial once. It was great.
I used to write Oodle Noodle commercials once upon a time.
You've worn so many different hats.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie's done them a couple, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're fun to write. We used to write them in school. Not Oodle Noodle ones, just commercials.
Commercials in general. Yeah, once upon a time in this company, Oilers Nation would shift to Oodle Noodle in the off season. So we would just be like, all right, we're pivoting to noodles whenever the Oilers invariably got knocked out of the playoffs. That's not the point of what we're getting to here though, Liam.
Nope.
It's delicious debate time with my friend Tyler Yaremchuk. What have you got for us today?
Well, there's some talk about which assets the Oilers could be looking to move ahead of the deadline. Daniel Nugent-Bowman was reporting that Broberg and Holloway are almost untouchable at this point. So my question to you, the group, my co-host of Oilers Nation Radio, how many Oilers prospects do you view as truly untouchable?
I'm going to start off with a question for you, Tyler.
Okay.
Those 2 names from DNB's article at The Athletic, do you buy it?
Yes, I do. And I'll even throw this part into the question for you guys to answer, but we're talking untouchable in deadline moves. So like guys you wouldn't give up for just a rental piece is sort of the question here. How many prospects are in your untouchable list? If Kyle Davidson calls you to talk about Jonathan Taves, or Jarmo Kekalainen wants to talk about Gavrikov, or whoever is the GM in Vancouver, because I don't think anybody really knows. Whoever's the GM in Vancouver says, let's talk about Bo Horvat. Who are the prospects that you say, we can make a deal, but it doesn't involve these guys?
So specifically, we're making rental deals.
Rental deals.
Not hockey trades, as we like to say.
Not hockey trades.
All right, Rick, who you got?
There's only a couple of guys on the roster that I'd actually move, none of which would be none of the prospects, nobody young in terms of a rental anyways. Outside of that, though, I can only think of 2. Ginger Beef and Borgo.
So Ginger Beef, Borgo, Broberg, and Holloway are all untouchable for you?
Yeah, there's only 2 or 3 guys on the team I'd move in terms of that rental type player right now that are on the roster as of today. Yeah. And then off the roster right now, according to what I'm looking at here, I honestly, outside of Schaefer and Borgo, Savoy and Lavoie, you might not want to move, but you can definitely tempt me. Outside of that, I don't see more forwards sitting there, and defensemen. There's a couple guys that I have hopes for, but if you offered me enough, you could have them. And goaltender, same thing.
My answer for this is I'm more concerned about the Oilers' depth chart at forward. Anybody on defense can go.
Broberg included?
Nope, not Broberg. If we're talking strictly rentals, anybody outside of like underneath Broberg on that depth chart for defense, have at him.
They are Nanny Malainen's kind of guys.
Yep, they could. Sure.
Yeah.
If Florida was like, hey, we have, actually, that's probably a bad example. If the Blues were like, hey, we got Nico Mikkola, who's a defenseman, Friedman's tied to the Oilers, and we just want to swap him for Niemelainen, I think I would do that.
Yeah,
I think that's a piece I would maybe sacrifice with the emergence of Desharnais and Broberg. I'd sit there and go, I can give up that guy for someone who's going to be much, much better and help me win this year.
Yep. Like if I'm prioritizing those 2, speaking of Vinny and Niemelainen, just the way Vincent Desharnais played, I would try and protect him more so than Niemelainen. But if the right deal comes along, see you later.
I'm just kind of looking through what happened last season as I headed into the deadline. So the biggest prospect move was paying Krebs, but that was obviously for Jack Eichel. So that's a huge move. You look at the other ones that were there. When Hagel was moved, that was Taylor Radish and Boris Kachuk.
Those are more
two kind of guys, just roster players you throw in there. When Claude Giroux was moved, it was Owen Tippett. Nick Paul was Joseph, who was kind of a fourth line guy too. The other big one was been Andrew Kopp for Morgan Barron, who was a 6th round pick by the Rangers and had played like a handful of NHL games. So like
the Toffoli deal as well had a prospect going to Montreal.
I didn't look that far back because I just stuck with the February. But my point kind of is I don't think the Oilers need to. I think, how do I word this? I think it's guys like Lavoie, Tullio, maybe even like a Savoy are kind of the guys who the Oilers would move rather than like any of the top guys. Anyway, the market's just not really there at the moment for like a Broberg, Holloway, Schaefer, Borgo, and I feel like it's one other one I'm missing. Maybe that's just the 4.
What's like
so that's kind of like my untouchable list, I guess.
So when the players that are kind of like linked to us, what's their ultimate value? Give me like a name of a prospect that would have to go out the door for him. Like, are we talking Lavoie? What's coming in for Lavoie? I mean, there's definitely, I have hopes for a couple of these players. Like I'm sitting there, I have all day for Tullio, Carter Savoy, Lavoie. Let's keep them down there. Let's keep them maturing, see what happens, see what we have in the long run. I mean, I don't want to, but what are we looking at these guys that coming back?
Well, like John Buccigross at ESPN threw out there like, oh, maybe in order to get Bo Horvat, the Kraken would part with Shane Wright. And I hear that and I go, boy, that's what they could get. Seems intense.
That's super intense.
But I think maybe more realistically is, the Canucks might sit there and be like, hey, if you want Bo Horvat, you're giving us a first or a second and one of your better prospects.
So to give somewhat of a comparison, Hampus Lindholm was obviously a massive name move last year. Yep. Anaheim got back John Moore, which was the cap dump. What was this defenseman called?
Urho Vakinen.
Yeah, who I think was like an old first round pick, late first round pick.
Not this either, are you?
No.
You just knew that off the top of your head.
Big Urho Vakinen guy.
A first round pick for this year, a second round pick for 2023, and a second round pick for 2024. For Lindholm, who they got the extension for, and Cody Curran. So like the thing is, like, we all put all these theories of how massive these trades really are. You probably get one or two that are really big. Like last year we got one.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Giroux, they probably I think teams want picks more than players. I think they'd rather pick their own players.
As a fan, I'd rather move on from picks than players.
Yeah, they're scratch tickets.
Well, we get names in here, then you start, I like this guy, or I like that guy, or whatever, right? So I'd rather move on from a first rounder in 2025 than Carter Savoy, who was doing this, that, and the other thing.
He's got a hat trick.
Just to touch on, you brought up the Tyler Toffoli trade. It was Emil Heineman, Tyler Pitlick, and a conditional 1st and 5th.
Remember when people were saying that was the big pickup of the summer?
Bigger than Kane.
Yeah, like that was supposed to be bigger than Kane.
Dan?
Well, I was just going to say, like, I think when we make these untouchable lists and one of those players comes off of that list, it's not necessarily the most decimating thing. Like I think everybody's sitting here saying no to Broberg, but if Broberg sending Broberg out brings in a Chychrun, are you that upset? I think that we're all kind of nibbling at the bits saying that the cost is what is really the indicating factor here. I don't necessarily believe that anybody on the roster outside of your consistent performers like your McDavids are at risk. So I think that anybody could be out there. It depends on the value that you're coming back with.
And I think that's fair too. I think the list of guys I would move like for a rental just isn't there.
Yeah, me too.
And I also think you're right. I like the point you made. Like you have the name attached to Schaefer and Borgo. And I think there's even a bigger risk in moving them because they were once your property. At least when you trade a first rounder, you can always hide behind the Oilers wouldn't have taken like Barzell. They traded Barzell. Well, the Oilers weren't picking Barzell. So whoa. Right? I just think there's a little bit more, there's a bit of a safety net almost built in for a GM trading a first round pick. And I almost think it's the same for the team getting the pick, where it's like, yeah, okay, you could have this prospect from the team, or pick your own, trust your scouts, get the first. So I do think they're going to move there first, but I think any talk about them like moving a Borgo for someone like a Joel Edmondson, I don't think it's going to happen. Like you kind of said, Liam, it's more picks than prospects that usually get dealt.
I think teams want guys who are kind of in the middle, like guys who are like good enough to be in the NHL, but not quite there yet. Like the Taylor Hall trade is another one, I guess, where like, what was that guy? What's that guy's name?
Adam Larson.
Oh, Kevin Ball.
No, Andreas Borch.
Anders Bjork?
Yeah, that one. And then
Andres Borscht.
See, that's a guy who everyone's like, oh, like, is he like, I don't know. It just seems weird. Like I can't think. There's so many other ones, but it's just like Jacob Varan was another one. With
well, no, you can even do, you talked about the Hagel deal. They got Radish and Kachuk as two guys who were tweeners. The Matthew Joseph, Nick Paul thing. All right, we want a guy who, is lower in your lineup, who maybe just isn't getting the minutes, but we want to give him a shot in our top 6.
Is that not Jesse Puljujarvi?
Probably.
It is, right? Like, that's the only guy on the Oilers. I guess Fogle as well. He's kind of like that fringe guy who's good enough to be in the NHL, but if he was in the AHL, people wouldn't be that surprised. Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of what I think the market teams want, these rebuilding teams.
So here's the Taylor Hall trades. Larson would get it. Traded from the New Jersey Devils with Blake Spears to Arizona Coyotes for Kevin Ball, Nate Schnarr, Nick Merkley, conditional first round pick in 2020, which turned into Dawson Mercer, and a conditional third round pick in 2021, which turned into Ryder Korczak.
Now, just question, of all those names you just mentioned off there, I'm going to trust you there in NHL players. How many games have they played?
Dawson Mercer is legit.
Yeah.
He plays in their top 6.
Yeah.
And then the second time he was traded from the Buffalo Sabres along with Curtis Lazar to the Bruins for Anders Bjork and a second round pick in 2021, which turned into Alexander Kisakov.
See, yeah, that's the thing. I think we all think these trades are going to be, so big, and then they happen and we're all so underwhelmed by them. Almost every year this happens. So I guess to answer the question is, I think the Oilers probably have like 4 or 5 prospects that are untouchable. Maybe even 6. I just don't think the market's there for them to teams even want them.
I think you're right. I think you get more value, especially because as an organization, you've picked these guys, you've put time into developing them, and that is a part of what you're sacrificing when you trade them. You're going to get better value, better bang for your buck moving on from your picks.
So this year, if we're talking picks, the Oilers have got everything except their 4th rounder. That was traded away last year. And in 2024, they've got everything except a 3rd and a 7th. 2025, they are without their 2nd round pick.
Cassian deal for that 1 second. Cassian deal for the 3rd.
I think the 7th was Kulak.
And the 4th was Derek Brassard, who we can never forget his contributions to the playoff run last year.
Gone, but never forgotten.
Did he play a playoff game?
He was there.
He was on the penalty kill if he did.
Think maybe.
He was on the bench, but only in warm-up.
On the bench?
Not warm-ups, gazing upon the crew.
They got him the seat next to the bench.
He was in the hallway chopping up orange slices for the boys when they were coming off.
Someone's got
He played in one.
Told you. Was it LA?
Must have been the first round.
It was Colorado.
Play.
Unless was there an injury against Calgary? Like I don't remember him
Maybe
at
it
all.
was Calgary.
May 8th against LA. He played 8 minutes and 12 seconds. He had no points, no shots, no hits.
It's not bad.
What's
How
the
many
rest of the
penalties
roster
did he kill,
like? Who was missing? I thought he did bring up everyone.
Overall, it's pretty good. Pretty good, really.
Dan, did you just say he was on the penalty kill though?
I'm pretty sure he killed some
Big
penalties
PK
that game.
All 8 minutes on the PK.
Yeah, big contributor that one. But I mean, for his $400,000 a season, it's not a bad deal.
And you know what?
What are you expecting from a guy making that little?
If I was only making $400,000, you should see how my work ethic would drop in this podcast.
Yep. If I was only making $400,000, boy, would I be lazy. I want to hear from you. If you're listening to this and you go, no, you dummies, player X, Y, or Z is untouchable, stupids. Hit us up, Owen Radio Podcast. And chime in on the Oodle Noodle Delicious Debate.
And use that format like a Mad Lib. Like, hey, you dummies, blank is untouchable, idiots.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Brad
that.
Malone.
Feel free to chime in, Owen Radio Podcast, or just follow us on social media. Please. Okay, great. Moving along, there's a couple of just housekeeping items almost, it feels like, since there's no games this week. They play Columbus tomorrow. They play Chicago on Saturday. And that's it for the week.
There you have it.
So it looks like the Oilers could be without Evander Kane tomorrow. That's according to Jason Gregor. It's not because of injury. It's because, according to Gregor, he is still in San Jose for his bankruptcy case / proceeding. Just hasn't wrapped up yet. So the Oilers could be without him tomorrow. Sucks, but it's only a game. He's got to clear that up. It is what it is.
I think it's interesting that the Oilers brought him back when they did. So I get it. They were kind of losing at the time too. So I guess it is kind of weird timing on that too. But so you bring him back and then he's just gone again immediately. Why not just wait? Wait, so what was his first game back? I'm kind of forgetting.
He's played like 3 games.
So he's played 3 and then he's gone he might not play tomorrow and then he's back potentially on Saturday and then he's gone again for 10 days because they're on a break.
Yeah, it feels like this maybe could have been scheduled better.
Why not just let him?
This is not about his injury though. Like
No, I know, but that's what I mean. If you know this stuff is going to happen, then why not just be like, all right, Evander, 1 more week off.
I think getting him some at-bats.
Who did he play?
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think what game he came back.
Guy to tell him.
Game before Tampa. Tampa was the second
Seattle.
game back.
Seattle, that was
He
it.
played
Yeah, it was
Seattle.
So he had like 7 shots in that
He
game.
played Tampa.
Played Vancouver.
Yeah, I guess that is the argument to it, isn't it? And
You
Vancouver.
get him back as soon as you can.
The argument is like, yeah, you're getting one of your best players back. But on the flip side, I think there's just 2 sides to it.
I like that.
And the rest of the time off is just the whole team's off, so it doesn't even count either.
Yeah,
so he may just miss 1 game.
I guess if he misses 1, then whatever.
To me, it's kind of like he gets a chance to knock a little bit of the rust off.
Sure. Okay.
And you can't tell me that Eric Cates isn't waiting on a tarmac. Like, what time's Court get out? 3?
Yeah, I don't know.
Get him on the plane.
Get him on the
Like,
PJ?
come on. Yeah.
Yeah, get him on the PJ back.
I like how Liam's whole point was, you guys are making a good point, but there is another side to this argument.
Always.
Sorry, I got close to my microphone.
Get him here. I 7:30 game tomorrow. If he gets there by 6:45, he's good to go. That's, it means he's got to be at the Edmonton airport.
If
by
he dresses
6.
in the airplane.
If his dad carries him into the arena.
Well, if he gets dressed in the limo, right?
Style while he's driving the car.
If he's at the rink by 6:45,
Yeah.
he can go.
This happens.
I'll offer my dad's services up.
For the record, it's a 7:30 game.
And this happens in my beer league sometimes. Someone else can sign the roster sheet for him.
Yeah.
And if he comes in halfway through the first, he does. Fuck it.
And again, I'm offering my dad services. He carried me into more than 1 rink because we were late for games. He can do it again.
Alfa Romeo brothers.
Do you remember in like 2012 when the Oilers had no prospects available and they had to call up that guy from the Saskatoon Blazers or
Sebastian Bassalion.
No,
It was the Cube, by the way, not-
Milan Krypta or something like that.
Oh, Kittner.
Yeah,
Kittner.
do you remember? I just remember he arrived like an hour and a half before puck drop, and that's all I can think about when we're talking about Evander Kane just get in
That
there.
happens a lot.
I know, but it's just funny.
Like, I think Stu did it in Baco not long ago. Well, maybe.
Oh yeah, he did because he played and he got a shutout.
And he came in wearing that big hat.
Yeah,
he came
'cause-
strolling on in.
That was right after the San Jose. So he got the shutout. Then he went to Bakersfield and played like the next day or something like that. But they had
He
like an
flew in that day.
they had an
They're like-
early game. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, so I know it's not ideal, but come on. These guys can get that done.
Yeah. Figured out. Second thing is Janmark is over whatever illness he was battling. He is back playing with Nuge and Costin. Second straight day of practice for him. So I imagine he'll play tomorrow. He will play, according to Gregor. Kane not expected to play tomorrow. So, he's getting that stuff cleared up down in San Jose.
Just one
He
note
just
there
skipped court. Oh, what was that, Dan?
of Milan Kittner. That was his one and only NHL game in his entire career.
Did he come from the Saskatoon Blazers, or am I imagining that?
It looks like that season he was with Oklahoma City or the Stockton Thunder at that
The
time.
Saskatoon Blades.
What did I
Sorry.
call him?
Blazers.
Kamloops Blazers.
Mm,
Looks like Bag Milk is the scout.
yeah.
He was a Blade 2 years before that. So
Maybe
you got
that's
your
where my
time
confusion
It
was.
covers the AJHL, not the dub.
Yep.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I saw you had a burger review the other day. What happened?
What happened to the burger?
Well, I know you ate it, but
Yeah.
what was the outcome?
It was delicious. I got it from the Skybox at the what's that one called, Tyler? Service
Credit
Union
Union?
Center or something in St.
Service
Albert.
Credit Union place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. At the John Reed. Fantastic piece of meat.
And
Where did it
what's
rank?
the breakdown?
Good balance of bun and meat with a good amount of cheese. However, I usually don't have it with lettuce. So I took the picture with lettuce.
It looked crispy too.
It was but it was a lot of lettuce. A lot of lettuce. So I took the lettuce off initially and had my first review bite. Then I put the lettuce back on. I enjoyed the burger with the lettuce.
You need the review bite has to be the way the chef serves.
Yeah, as the artist serves.
Lettuce there, then take the bite, review it. If you don't want the lettuce, no problem, take it off after that point.
To be fair, I might be in too deep now to even consider changing my votes, but next year this could be in consideration. But I've also ran out of characters on the tweet. So I got to figure out a way to condense it all now. So I think I have a 9.
You're going to have to go to the classic note screenshot.
I know. I thought about that too. I'm going to have to figure something out here, but yeah, it was a good burger. I think I put it 3.
Okay.
So
acceptable juiciness.
Yeah. The service centers now own 2 of the top 3 spots in my power rankings.
There you go.
The one in Red Deer is 2, and then the Saskatchewan burger is 1.
What is your Twitter handle, Liam, so people can follow along?
At Liam Horben is my pinned tweet.
There you go.
Liam had a hell of a food take today on Oilers Nation every day.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm ready.
It was a slow day.
It was a slow news day. He says, can you give us the name?
Crisp Butty.
It's just bread and chips.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Come on. And butter.
It's not that weird. You made it seem like
I think it's
invented
insanity.
something new. Someone
fries.
Yeah, it's a chip butty.
Crisp.
Like
That's what
Lay's chips
Like
and
Lay's
bread.
chips.
What flavor?
Whatever you want, Rick. That's the beauty of it all.
This guy, Rick.
Well, I can't see that. Like, I mean, Doritos on anything is going to be good, right? But then sandwich, I just don't.
Because Rick learned about butties in Vegas.
That was it.
Butties.
That's who I told. I couldn't remember. I knew this.
It was Rick and Jake.
That's right.
Was
yes.
it not? Did we not record it?
No, that was.
No, that was when we were watching foosball.
Yeah, that was when we didn't leave the hotel.
I was the only one with you. I've had them.
Yeah,
I know.
It's a perfectly acceptable.
How many butties are out there?
Whatever you want. They're all.
You're
butties.
bound only to your creativity.
Yeah, a
Literally
butty
potato
is
chips and
essentially
bread.
a sandwich. So you could have a ham butty, a chicken butty, roast beef.
So if you're doing the chip one, what kind of flavored chips are you throwing on there?
I like salted. Just a nice salted.
Oh, just the OG.
So just the original.
Just a good. You there?
You're talking like a Lay's? Are you
Bread,
talking
butter,
ruffled?
and original Lay's.
Lay's. No, well, you can if you want. I go with.
I'm following you. I want to know
Well,
what
I go
you're
with.
putting yours
I
together.
go with the Lay's, but I will say barbecue, that kind of stuff, probably isn't going to be great.
Yeah.
But although I do like the sour cream and onion crisp butty.
If there was like other, like someone texted in and said, like a pulled pork sandwich with Lay's is good, or like a ham sandwich with Lay's, and I can get behind that. But just bread, butter, plain Lay's, another piece of bread sounds awful.
Well, you can put meat on there if you want. It's your own creation, Tyler. I am
Again.
not holding you back on this. You can do whatever you want.
Your
my
creativity's
friend.
holding you back. That's as far as I see.
You got to think about
I
it.
feel like
I used to have them a lot when I was traveling. It was a chip butty
Yeah.
where it would just be fries in the buttered bread.
I feel like we have some serious summer content going on right now.
Sorry, I guess I'll close on it. Fish finger butties too. Which fish fingers
yeah.
on a sandwich.
You get some tartar on there though?
You can if you want. Ketchup. I go ketchup.
It's a fish
Ketchup. I don't like
sandwich.
ketchup.
yes.
Okay, that's better at
stick
least.
sandwich.
But it's
yeah.
fish fingers.
Fish sticks.
Fish sticks, same thing.
fish finger butty.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing, but okay.
Does the fish finger buddy have potato chips on it?
If you want.
There are no rules.
So it doesn't even. So
I am not telling you what to do, Dan. You do what
so
you
it's
like.
literally just make a sandwich and call it a buddy, and you've got a buddy.
Yep.
It's
Okay,
it's pronounced with T's though, not D's.
Butty. B-U-T-T-Y.
See?
Butty.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think I'm saying the same thing. It's not coming through on the microphone.
Butties.
That's all.
Butty.
Buddy,
Butty.
buddy, right?
No, butty.
Buddy,
There you go.
Yeah.
buddy.
We're ready
Butty.
to go to England.
Don't call me buddy, pal.
We We got to save this content for the 10-day layover.
We're just gonna do a butty like a taste
We
test.
could do a review
Next
show.
Tuesday is gonna be
We'll have to have a cooking challenge
Yeah, next
where we all
Tuesday's
make a
gonna be an
buddy for
interesting
each
show.
other.
Who can bring in the most flavorful butty for the podcast?
Yeah, English
call
cuisine
each
has
other
never
booty
been anything
booty.
people bragged about, so it shouldn't be a
Yorkies
surprise.
are fantastic.
Not for girls. Did you ever remember that? Do you remember that? They used to Yorkies whole brand until like 10 years ago used to be like Yorkies, not for girls, and the O was just like, you know, they have like a parking sign where you can't park, and it's like the P. It was just like the girl. Like when you go to the bathroom and they have the girl picture, and it was just a big circle with a cross, and it was like, not for girls.
So girls aren't allowed to eat Yorkshire puddings?
Yorkies.
What's that?
Oh, it's a chocolate bar.
I always Yorkshire pudding. I call you.
I thought you were talking about a
I call
dog.
them out too, but there's a Yorkie chocolate bar. That was it. You can look it up. It's on Google.
Why can't the girls eat them?
That's what the slogan was. Like,
And up
kinda
until
like McLovin as I'm loving it.
2013,
They
Yeah,
like
like very recently they were like, this probably isn't good
they
anymore.
halved their target market. They're like, no, we don't need the half of you.
Yep.
I will send their logo in our chat. I don't.
We should have pivoted to no guys can eat these anymore.
Yeah, just go the
not
other way.
available in
Flip it.
pink. It says that
Like
this
their
is
whole
incredible.
wrapper was built around.
This is a Nestle product too.
Yes.
This is like a big company.
Yep. This was it.
Wow.
Yeah, not for girls.
What the fuck?
And it was just like a big chunky
Can you
chocolate.
put, okay, so here's a question for you, Liam. I have a question for you. If you take that chocolate bar and you unwrap it and you put it on a piece of fucking bread, is it a body?
It's a Yorkie butty.
Can you imagine being the executive who ran with this, and the day he got fired, it was like, hey man, listen, we gotta stop this. He's like, that's fair. Like I totally understand it. It's
I can't believe
Like,
you guys
I like
didn't
to
fire me
imagine a
years ago.
meeting where the folks at Yorkie are like, God, we got to figure out this sales thing. We need to increase sales. And then somebody pipes up and goes, what if they are for girls? And so everybody goes, damn it, you're right.
Oh, I was gonna say they tossed that dude out the window. You get the
sales
hell
go
out
up
of here with that.
exactly 50%.
Like, girls are like, well, we can eat these too. This is the weirdest marketing strategy I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it worked.
Oh
We'll
my
stop talking about
god.
Drop that in the group chat.
Okay.
How is that a real? We can't even say this on the air,
it.
but I'm
He's in
sending you.
tears.
That is incredible.
We got to drop it in the group chat so we can at
It's
least.
coming. It's coming.
Oh my god.
All right.
If you're looking for this stuff, just Google it.
Just Google Yorkie chocolate.
Oh no. Come on, man.
It's terrible. How is this company allowed to exist?
There's no way. Like these are so bad they seem like parody. All right, so if you're listening to this right now and you're like, "Hey dummies, I can't see what you're looking at." You can Google this on your own time.
Yep. There's a lot of adverts out there too. You can probably find on YouTube.
Yep.
Oh.
Anyway, the people at Yorkie, you got some splaining to do. Well, Oilers, eh? Tyler just keeps them coming. The hits just keep on coming. So you know what, listeners? We're going to get back to hockey now,
Yeah,
but
we
I
should.
implore you, please do a little Googling on your free time. Kill some company time today.
Wow, it's not even like, again, whatever. I digress.
You know what? Not everybody makes good choices, Tyler.
No.
And the people at Yorkie, well, you got some splaining to do. And I also learned that I was thinking Yorkshire puddings.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Yeah, Yorkshire puddings are fantastic.
They're
I
delicious.
just call it. Yeah, they're amazing.
I could eat those every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm. All right, I want to get back to hockey real quick for our friends at Tourism Jasper. This weekend, Tyler, we are out at the beautiful Jasper Park Lodge for the 2023 Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. I'm super pumped on it. We are going to be going up against Team Flames Nation.
Ooh.
Elbows up, boys. Frank Saravalli flying down. Our boy Adam from Toronto, the parent company Playmakers flying in. You starting to get excited yet?
I'm very excited.
I'm too.
Yeah, I already have all my stuff kind of packed up, all my warm clothes ready for the game. Sticks retaped. Chalmers and I yesterday were talking about, and we both agreed, we're like, we need better strategies this year. Last year we were just kind of doing whatever. Now we know what the game's about. Now we got some vets on the team.
Mm-hmm.
We need to like make sure everyone plays their position because I want to win.
Are you guys taking a whiteboard and a marker?
Bag Milk has
I've
one.
got one.
Are you taking it?
I am now.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, we'll drop some plays.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Pass to the Italians.
Hey, kicking and screaming.
Yep.
Okay. I also want to tell you about the escape card at Marmot Basin. Half price lift tickets, only $89 plus taxes. The best deal in the Canadian Rockies is back for 2023. Save 50% off regular price. Adult, senior, student, and youth lift tickets every day, all season with no blackout dates. Go to jasper.travel. You can find out more of the details there on the escape card at Marmot Basin. Or if you're in the area, come watch us play some hockey. We're going to be out at the JPL this weekend, so I'm excited about it. I will be going up Friday. It's going to be lovely. Very, very much looking forward to it. A couple more things just from the Oilers, a little bit of housekeeping. And then I've got a couple of questions for you, just open-ended questions that I'd like to ask you. First one is Zach Hyman was named first star of the week in the NHL last week. 3 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists. Our boy's on a heater.
One of those goals was not his. Remember, he got kicked in by Tollivan.
Oh, yeah, he pushed it in or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he kicked it. No offense, Zach. I mean,
He also had
playing
one
great,
taken away.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fact-
NHL giveth, NHL taketh away.
Yeah.
That was a really hard one to overturn, man.
don't
You know what?
get it.
I
It was
don't
called
understand.
goal on the ice.
Yes.
At this point, when you watch it that many times, I did not see an opportunity to say 1,000% no goal. This has to be one that sticks to you go
To
with the play on
me,
the ice.
The puck hit Hyman behind the goaltender and went into the net.
I was gonna say I don't think he
How
made
is
contact
that-
with the goalie till the puck was past him.
How is that goaltender interference? It's just the thing with the NHL that drives me crazy right now is just no idea what goaltender interference is right now. I looked at that goal or no goal, I guess, and I thought there's no way this is coming back. But then at the same point, I was like, well, it's probably coming back.
Yeah. You even look at it's different, but like the one that went in on Jack Campbell where he like caught the puck.
Mhm.
They're just kind of making decisions based off opinion more than the actual like facts of the rule book.
Yes,
Which
rule
is
book
wrong.
says you need to see the entire puck cross the goal line.
Oh,
You
like-
did not see that when it's in the glove.
Yeah, and the goalie in
Change the
first-
rule, no problem. I'm okay with that. They have not done there. So therefore, you have to go back to that rule. We've seen numerous times goalie glove goes in the net, can't see the puck, can't call it a goal. Change the rules then.
Can I share with you guys something? Because I was
please.
just
Go
thinking.
ahead.
Is it more Yorkie ads?
Thankfully, no.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
going to work on getting all those erased from the internet. Zach Hyman at $5.5 million is unbelievable value.
Yes.
I am looking right now at players who are on their UFA contracts. So players who signed as unrestricted free agents, whether they signed back with the same team or signed with a new team, whatever. They signed their contract as a UFA. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the highest scoring player in the NHL who is signed as a UFA. Zach Hyman's number 2. Ken Holland has signed the 2 best UFA contracts in the NHL.
Who's 3? Give us a top 5.
Steven Stamkos, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Those guys are pretty good.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, but they are
stuff.
not as productive as Nuger Hyman this year.
So who is the next guy on the list who signed with a new team?
Panarin at 6.
Oh, Panarin at 6 is that's nice value for the Rangers.
It is.
That is.
But he's almost
Let's go
twice
the other way. You
but
got
he's
any-
twice as expensive as Nugent
Yeah,
Hyman.
who's the worst?
Yeah, who's the word? Like, find us a name where it just like did not like. Who's the Kyle Okposo that you're going to find out there?
Milan Lucic. Right?
I'm trying to
The
maybe
gift that keeps on giving.
He got a fight last night though.
someone on here making 3 point.
Sure did.
Whoa. Players who make more than $2 million.
Could you also throw Evander Kane in there because he's at 5'1"?
Yeah, he is. If you want a player, the highest scoring or the lowest scoring player making more than $2 million is Ken Holland strikes again. It's Zach Cassian. Son of a gun.
Damn it.
Figs.
Hey, listen, if we take one Zach Cassian to get a Hyman, a Kane, and a Nuge, all day, every day.
Zach Cassian scored the last goal for the Oilers last season. He was worth every penny, if you ask me. Yeah, he scored the goal that sent him to overtime, right? Against Colorado on the goal line.
I was
Great
probably
play.
really drunk by that time, so I'm not sure.
My
He did,
eyes were
yep.
just filled with tears.
I was convinced you got a haircut today. I really
No,
was.
just-
You were slicked back though in the meeting.
Yeah, I got some new hair gel on
Is it dippity do?
Tuesday.
The pink kind.
Well, actually, it's the same one. I just got a new tub. But yeah, usually
I like how it comes in a tub. Like what kind of size are you talking?
just a little
Industrial tub.
just a little round tub.
It's like a little container.
Yeah, container.
All right.
Little Old Spice pomade.
I still think you need the glasses up there though.
I had to give them back to Dan. I can't have that side of me come out again.
Vegas
for
Liam.
another year.
Vegas Liam can only come out so often.
Once a year.
All right.
Available at any Dollarama nearby.
No, Dan, don't give away Liam's secrets. He's a fashion icon for
Designer.
24 hours. For our friends at Betway, since there's not a whole lot of Oilers to talk about, how things been going for you recently during this win streak, really? Because as hot as you'd expect to be when the Oilers win like this, hasn't really been the case for me.
Well, the thing is, they ain't scoring from so many players.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to pin down. Power play empty net isn't clicking like I thought it was going to.
Hit it the other night, didn't
Got
you?
that one though. Yeah. Who'd they play the other night? Vancouver. Got that one. So
You got to find those puck lines in there.
I had Nuge anytime goal scorer, so he also contributed to the empty net against Vancouver. Love
I
to see
think
it.
Ryan.
I think tomorrow might be a Oilers -2.5 or -3.5 kind of night.
I don't like when you do that
I'm sorry.
because we cannot manifest these kinds of things.
See, Betway had a really nice one on Saturday, whereas Oiler money line plus 2 points by Connor.
I had that one as well.
That was plus money.
Yep, I had that
That
one
was
as well.
directly into my pocket.
That was plus 125. That was a
one.
casual little payout.
It is funny how that one just feels like an absolute lock every time. Actually, I read a stat today.
scored
Speaking
two
of
goals.
Connor,
He had his 2 points in like 10 minutes.
yeah. So in 2015, Jamie Benn won the Art Ross with
Oh, God, I hate
87
this.
points.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Connor McDavid has 88 now in this season.
Yeah, we're at game 48.
Yeah.
Man, how bad was that year?
It is wild to think about.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, when you look at it, it's not like the years before were like that poor. Like players were putting up
No,
100
that was
points,
just a drop
and that
off
year
year.
was just absolutely horrendous. I don't know what it was that year. That wasn't a shortened year, was it?
No, I don't think so.
No, there
So-
are all sorts of asterisks around.
I also want
Yeah.
to shake my fist skyward at the Toronto Maple Leafs for losing to the Montreal Canadiens the other day. That really ruined a parlay that I had going. That would have been real nice. Although ultimately my fault for betting on the Leafs.
Yep.
Yeah, leaves.
Yep. It's rude. It's inconsistent. And they hurt my parlay. Man, I really hoped for the Oilers to win every period because that was juicy. It was plus 900 the other day. It was a little sprinkle.
I wonder how often that one hit. So it would have hit against San Jose.
Yeah, and that was like, I did not bet it.
No,
What happens if they push the second?
that's it.
Cancel.
It's over, eh?
To win every single one.
Yeah. Just real quick before we move on to some more Oilers stuff. What was your take on the Vancouver Canucks, the Bruce There It Is thing from Saturday night?
Yeah, we've kind of talked about it on a whole bunch of shows now, but like I actually think we talked about it on Friday too. It was my cold performer of the week. It's embarrassing. It was like,
Well,
I'm
like,
happy
see-
it's done for Bruce, but like,
That one shot at the end of the Oilers game,
yeah,
where Bruce was just kind of soaking it in as the Bruce There It Is chant goes, I was just like, man, this is rough.
That part I didn't mind as much because he knew he was done. And that's just your last kick at the can. That's your last time on the bench, right?
But he should have know
should've been
that
gone-
is-
Yeah, it should have been dealt with a lot better before that. But that situation, I like the knowing you get one last game type of thing. But there's no way they should have drug him through the mud like that.
no.
And also, as a big WWF fan, I believe the Vancouver fans missed an opportunity to start chanting, "You screwed Bruce."
I think Vancouver missed an opportunity on Tocchet, the way they could have like built him up as like, because now he's
Enemy number one already.
Yeah, and he's done nothing wrong really. Like it's kind of weird.
He took a job.
Yeah, he took a job that he was offered. So nothing that happened there. But what it should have happened was they should have fired Bruce a month ago. Put Mike Yeo in charge, who's an experienced NHL coach. It's not like you're putting one of us in charge. Like he knows what he's doing.
I could be there.
Yeah,
Because
you'd have a
Tocchet
whiteboard.
had to put in 4 weeks notice with TNT, no?
Yeah. So then my
So they
point.
knew around Christmas time. So they've
Yeah.
been dragging Bruce through this for a
Sending
month.
him out there. The media's asking him about it the whole time. They could have had, if Mike Yeo was there, like Liam said, they could have had Jim Rutherford stand there for all it mattered. Like he's done it before.
Or if you know that Sergei Gonchar is going to be his assistant coach, just put him on the bench. Like then you can get familiarity with that. But my point is
there were options there, and they chose definitely the worst.
Because then you can have a month of Rick Tocchet talking about being the next Vancouver Canucks head coach.
I don't know if you could go that far.
Why not? If you accept the job and say, "Yep, he's leaving the show in 1 month," and then
because then he'd be on there talking about it'd be weird.
Okay, I get that part a little bit, but he's also got a job to do.
Yeah,
like I think it would have been like a good way for them to play it up.
How would you have done it, Tyler?
If I was the Canucks, I would have, canned Bruce the day after you agreed to terms with Tocchet.
Or then once that leaked, like it had.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce is gone. Mike Yo's the interim. He's been a head coach before. And just tell the public, hey, we're doing a coaching search. Because then, Bruce does his thing, final game against the Oilers. And the next day, Patrick Alvin, their GM, sits in front of the media and goes, I made the decision today to fire Bruce. Well, no, you didn't.
No, you don't. We already knew it was coming.
As an aside there, when you say that Tocchet couldn't do his job like that, they do it in F1 all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In what?
F1.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
They literally race for the same.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I'm racing for these guys next year.
Yeah.
I got 7 more races for us this year. Hey, guys, let's go.
What he would be saying on that broadcast could be seen as tampering at times.
I'd be tampering now.
I think it's worse. Because then what? I don't know. What if he has to talk crap about Vancouver? He knows he's getting hired.
He doesn't have to talk. Isn't he just like an opinion there?
Well, he's an analyst on the panel, right?
Yeah, but you're just an opinion. That's all it is.
I don't understand why Vancouver felt the need to put in a head coach right away. Anyways, myself, the team's definitely not going anywhere in the next 2 months.
I would have done a player coach like Slapshot.
I don't know. Put in an interim coach. I don't know that Mike Yeo was the option there. Was he an assistant still?
Yeah, he was an assistant.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean that would have been a perfect option, and then let the rest of the season just kind of fizzle out and figure itself out, because it is going to now continue to just be a big circus for Rick and his staff.
No, but if you know who your coach is going to be, I don't mind him getting in some reps in the dead season, figure it out what he likes, doesn't like.
Yeah, fair enough.
And go from there.
One thing that's interesting to me is going to be what happens with Vancouver over the next, say, 18 months. How many of the players currently on the roster are still going to be there? Because I had fun on Sunday celebrating an Oilers win. I'm like, I'm going to do a little Twitter search for JT Miller, see what's doing.
Oh boy.
Boy, it's an adventure in there. And not just for how Canucks fans speak about him, but also how often that guy just completely snaps on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
He's a spaz.
Was he always like this? Like, where was he before Vancouver?
New York, wasn't he?
Yeah, New York.
He was in Tampa.
Was it just less of a fishbowl so you don't notice it? Or is it this?
I think this is the first time he's been put in like the role as like the star of the team.
Yep. Bingo. I think
he had that 99 points last year. So it was a big
Is he the
season.
captain?
No, Horvat is.
Horvat.
Remember, they chose to sign Miller instead of Horvat. And now
So when they asked Horvat about the coaching change, he said he is not in the... I'm not in the right spot to speak about that. Well, no, sir, you were the captain.
He was probably the only player who could have spoke about it. It is quite amazing that Vancouver is so poor with the amount of good players they actually have.
Isn't it fun?
I mean, it's awesome for us.
I think
32 points almost until we blow leads. Who do they have? JT Miller, Pedersen, Brock Besser, Bo Horvat, Thatcher Demko, Quinn Hughes. I feel like there's a couple others I'm missing, but my point is like, they have like a pretty solid core of play. Kuzmenko.
They just can't put
7 players. One is a defender, but yeah, they have zero chemistry. It's amazing.
That's great.
Getting back to the Oilers, our boy Waz put up an article on Oilersnation.com the other day, and I just wanted to ask you guys because I thought the responses within the article and in the comments were interesting. Liam, if I ask you, who is the unsung hero on the Edmonton Oilers right now? It's almost like who is the answer, but like who are some guys that just don't get enough love for what they do?
So Klim's obviously been great, but do you know what? This might seem like a silly one, but I think Stuart Skinner is by far the unsung hero on this team. Like without him, like truly, where would this team be? I said a few months ago on our live show that I think he's the MVP of the team. So maybe that is a bit too far for an unsung hero, but I'll just say him.
Tyler?
So the reason I have a tough time with this is because we talk about this team twice a week for multiple hours, or some of us more than twice a week. So we break everything down. Klim Kostin would be an obvious answer if this was someone from outside of Edmonton asking me this question. Stuart Skinner is a really good one. But the guy who I think maybe the fan base isn't giving enough recognition to for how good of a season he's having is Tyson Barrie.
That's my name.
Yeah.
100%. He's quietly put up 32 points this year. Nobody's talking about it.
But defensively,
steady.
It feels like last year, it was like at least every second game, we were like, boom, boneheaded play by Barrie in the D zone. And this year, I'm barely noticing them at all.
Yep.
And it started with the playoffs last season, to be fair. I thought he had a very good playoffs with Brett Kulak, but I actually think there's a case to be made. He's been their most consistent defenseman this year. That's not just in the O zone. That's in the D zone too.
I think that's the big thing for him, isn't it? Like when you never say like, oh, what was that from Barrie? Like, there's so many other.
It's not happening nearly as much as it used to.
No, like he said in an interview the other day, is I just keep the play in front of me and I just try and nail it down. But I think he's done a really good job for a guy. What is he now? 32. So actually, like
30.
kind of 30, like to turn his career around in a sense of his playing style is nuts at that age, to be honest.
Like how many people out on Twitter land are going to be so upset with everything you guys are saying.
I've never understood the idea of like trading him this season or within the season. Off season, sure, I understand it, but like in the season, like what are you going to do? Just move our guy who, like you said, is 30 points. Quarterback's the best power play in the NHL, and guys like him a lot.
Yep.
Tighten the room. Yeah, like I'll admit, I was a guy who was like, oh, you could move Barrie at the deadline, let Bouchard step into that role. But now I wouldn't move him at all, not even thinking twice about it.
Yep.
Dan, who's your unsung hero?
Yeah, I mean, Barry's a good choice. I just, for a guy that even more so because he doesn't put up the points, right behind him is Cody Ceci. He's just steady Ceci for us. Never really, never really a guy that I'm critical of, never a guy I'm really, over the moon about his performance either. I just always kind of count on his minutes to be solid and uneventful.
I like that pick. And I'm going to say not maybe an unsung hero, but Derek Ryan is quietly having himself a decent little season. He's got 6 goals, 5 assists for 11 points. We're talking about a fourth liner. Like it's what you want.
Yeah.
How do you
Devin score?
Well, I mean, Nugent Hopkins is obvious, but he's...
is it though? Because when you speak about the Oilers, Nuge's name doesn't come up in the first 5 or 6 names.
And I bet Nuge probably likes that. You know what I mean? I bet he likes kind of sliding under the radar. Because I remember when he was drafted, it was first overall pick. He's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. He's got to be the guy. Now he doesn't have to be the guy. He can go put up 57. He can. 57 points in 48 games for Nugent Hopkins this year. So unsung hero for sure. Like, could Nugent Hopkins be the answer if we bumped up the
belt?
Then yeah, of course.
Like it's funny, but I think Tyler's right. It's like, especially for fans from Edmonton, it's really hard to find an unsung hero here because as soon as that blue collar guy starts doing something good, we absolutely love that, right? So Kleem could be the one, except for he's getting his, everyone's singing his praises, and there's not a guy on this team. And actually, Barrie was a really good answer for that one because outside of that, you really don't see guys out there doing something productive who they're not. People aren't singing for them.
Second question I've got for you guys, just as kind of an open discussion, is what makes 11-7 work so well for the Oilers, Liam?
The fact that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can go out in multiple ways. And I think the fact that Jay Woodcroft has the flexibility to essentially do whatever he wants with the forward group, which gives you a massive advantage against the other team because they never know who's coming over the boards. Like obviously just line matching and whatever, but if you see someone out there, be like, hey, McLeod, go with Leon and Connor for this one. Like it just kind of works so well because it's so mysterious.
And it's funny though, because, and I know people hate it, but what are our forward lines?
They don't exist. We have 11 forwards.
It could be anything. How do you try and defend that? And it works great for a defense, right? Because you have at least 2 young guys on there, although 26 is young. You have 2 inexperienced players where you get that extra defenseman helps, right? You get a couple extra minutes off from here or a situation, this, that, or the other thing, whatever. But then the fact that he's so good at just throwing out any combination of 3 forwards and it all just seems to work. I don't know how you try and sit there and line match that.
Yeah, you can.
It's hilarious to watch.
Dan,
and
what
it
do you
frustrates so many people.
Dan, what do you think 11-7?
I think it even just goes deeper than that too, to say that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins factor plays in as well, because again, you can use McDavid and Draisaitl in any kind of a workhorse situation there, and then you've got Nugent-Hopkins and a McLeod or a Derek Ryan again to just spell for those few minutes here and there. But I just think that the layers of center depth just gives you that ability to kind of back up your defense where you need a little bit more support in getting those defensive players minutes down.
Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's like the multifaceted versatility of the forward group.
It's great.
It sounds complicated, but you got so many guys who can play center. You have so many guys who can play the left wing or the right wing. You have so many guys that are comfortable playing with each other and being in these different roles that you're right. Jay Woodcroft can just sit there and kick anyone on the behind and say, you're up next, you're up next, you're up next, go. And he can trust that they're going to work well together on the ice. Like this forward group from McDavid to Derek Ryan, they all seem to know each other's tendencies, or at least they're playing that way right now. Sure. And also another thing, like Liam, you mentioned McDavid and Draisaitl getting to play more. I also think part of it is Jay Woodcroft having the restraint to just not always play those two. You'll see Hyman take those shifts. Yep. You'll see Nuge take those shifts. Everybody kind of gets mixed in with that extra line. Everybody gets a look. Everyone plays a couple extra shifts, and the Oilers are better for it.
And then they could do the ultimate line too when they don't want to.
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah, why not, right?
Sometimes it's fun.
It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, it is your time to shine, my friends.
Here we go.
Trivia.
Trivia.
Yeah.
We haven't had trivia on the podcast in a while.
I just want to just for the record, you said Tyler went
I know
1
them
for
now.
8.
1 for 8 on the live
excited.
show. All right.
So how are you going to distribute the questions, Liam?
I will ask the questions, and then Bag Milk, Dan, and Rick in that order will give one answer.
All right.
Each. Some of them do need thinking, so I'll just give time. But the first 3, 2. Okay, so the first one. Who has the
Tyler
most?
went 1 for 8, just so we know, right?
1
Yes?
for 8.
Okay.
Can we
The
beat
bar is
Tyler,
high.
who's generally an encyclopedia of Oilers knowledge?
He just pulled that weirdo's name out of the top of his head.
Yep, that's why I'm worried about how I'm going on this.
If I can get 1, I'm happy. Let's
Who
go.
has scored the most goals, overtime goals for the Edmonton Oilers in the team's history?
I'm going to go Glenn Anderson.
Dan?
I'll say Kevin Lowe.
Rick?
Glenn Anderson.
Connor McDavid, 14.
Who's 2?
Leon Draisaitl, 11.
That was my guess.
Yeri Curry has 7.
because ties.
All right.
Right.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Rough start.
All right.
We're moving.
All 0-1.
Okay.
Who was the last Edmonton Oilers goaltender to make the All-Star game?
Oh,
This is the only one I got right.
Yeah, the Tyler got this one.
really?
Yeah.
Only Oilers.
The
This one's tough for me because I really don't care about the All-Star game whatsoever.
Was it? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Big
I'm
Bill.
going to say Cam Talbot.
Cam Talbot. Dan?
Curtis Joseph.
Rick?
Tommy Salo.
Tommy Salo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
In
like-
2002, he had a 2.22 GAA and 913 save percentage.
What year was that, sorry?
2002.
Was that...
In 2002, I was
that-
drinking 40s and bushes.
No, wait. Was that pre the one off his head then, right?
It would have been.
Yeah, it
would've
would have
been-
been.
that was no
yeah,
two,
to
yeah.
Belarus.
Okay, so Rick's 1 for 2. Dan and Bag Milk are 0-2.
Well,
So this one... Okay, I'm
way
going to
she
read...
goes.
This is a complicated one.
Which Edmonton Oilers defenseman who... Sorry, I should have said this at the start. All these answers are within the last 23 years.
oh.
So there's no one like...
Well, that does change a few of our
Okay, so I
answers.
say Glenn Anderson.
Okay, which Edmonton Oilers defenseman who played at least a full season with the team scored most of his points on the power play?
Tyson Berry.
Tyson Berry? Dan?
Chris Pronger.
Chris Pronger?
I'm Tyson Berry.
My
Damn it.
my guess was Corey Potter, and it was almost right.
Was it Marc-Andre Bergeron?
It is Chris Pronger. 75% of his points one season came on the power play. He scored 56 points in 80 games, and 42 of them were on the power play.
Nice poll, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys don't follow Zach on Twitter.
Yeah, Zach tweeted this one.
Oh, shenanigans.
Okay, so Dan and Rick have 1. Bag Milk has 0.
Oh, I'm imagining I'm going skating through on a 0 here.
Okay, so this one. How many active Edmonton Oilers, like players who are on the team today, have played for the Bakersfield Condors. So to give an example of this, Devon Shore is not part of this group.
They have to be on the roster today.
Yes.
On the NHL roster
Included injured players.
Are we counting the Oklahoma?
No, Bakersfield.
Okay. Are we counting when Connor practiced with them post?
No.
Okay.
They played a game in Bakersfield. Or more.
Okay, I got my number.
Okay. Bag milk.
I looked at Daily Faceoff lineup just to
10.
10. Dan?
I'm saying 11.
Rick?
I'm going with
11.
Oh, okay, 11. We'll allow it.
Whoa.
I missed one as I'm going through the list. 11.
it's going to be 11, but it might be 12. Did he?
Just do it to be different.
Well,
I'll do it to be different. 12.
you're all wrong. It is 13.
And I kind of got this one right because I said 12 and counted all the right players, but then you were like, I counted Yamamoto.
Yeah, because he's on the active roster. So it's Leon Draisaitl, James Hamlin, Dylan Holloway, Matthias Janmark, Klim Kostin.
I forgot Janmark too.
Yeah, Ryan McLeod, Jesse Puljujarvi, Yamo, Evan Bouchard, Broberg, Vinny Desharnais, Darnell Nurse, and Stuart Skinner.
I forgot about Nurse.
Yeah, I think he played 9
Hold on,
games.
I got a point of order here. Did Oscar Klefbom play on the Condors?
No, he was on Bakersfield, on Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah.
Okay.
Because he's technically still on the roster, Liam. He might have counted.
Now, this one was maybe a bit too difficult, but I'll ask anyway. So, how many trades has Ken Holland made as the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers, including all of everything?
Okay.
So, for example, I'll give you one. He traded Dylan Wells for future consideration.
That's counted in this.
That counted in this.
I was close.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going
How
to
many
say
years has he been our GM?
like I know a website I can go count and cheat, but I'm
Well,
not
that's what I
going
did.
How many years has he been our GM?
4 years.
He's not a big trader.
If you can guess the first one, I'll give you half a point.
I'm going to say 10 total.
Okay. Do you know what his first trade would have been?
No.
Okay. Dan?
I'm guessing it's like 26.
Oh, boy.
Guess on the first trade? Do you have one?
Oh, that was right around, that was after Manning and what's his face and Cost.
Yeah.
In. So was it the Athanasiou?
Okay.
I'm going to go with...
No.
No, you got to let me answer first. How you'll tell us?
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
18 trades. And his first one...
I'm late.
What was your guess?
Mike Green?
10.
No. His first trade was a Lucic trade.
For the real deal.
Yeah. 14 trades.
Oh, actually, I wasn't that far off.
No, I guess 12.
Dan
I
was
was
pretty
way too
far
high.
off.
I wasn't that far
That
off.
was hefty,
I
but I thought there was more a couple of Dylan Wells types trades.
Because I was thinking like Tyler and I did the 2022 recap episode of Better Late Than Never,
yeah.
and he only did 3 trades in a calendar year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was trying, like, he's not a big trader.
No, a lot of them have been like kind of cap dumps, like the Lucic one, the Wells one, the Cassian one too. His own mistakes. So this one, feel free to lug this up if you'd like. So this might be a bit too difficult. How many players have played within the Edmonton Oilers organization or have been drafted from the 2012 NHL draft?
Oh, fuck.
The number is staggering. So I'll give you a clue on this one. They drafted 7 players that year.
So your
that
number starts with 7.
The number is 7
You can't Google it.
upwards.
That is
Because there's a bunch of ones like
Who's the top 5 in that year?
That was
you
Jakub
basically had
Podziemski.
all of them.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
not,
yeah, I
that's
should have
fair.
said that.
And then there's
because then we've had
Cuckoo is in there too.
and yeah, I think
Oh my God.
CC,
yeah, CC's
Oh my
in
God.
there.
Big
Those
Cat.
2 are in there. He's in there.
It's like
So
15. They just
okay, I
keep
got
coming
numbers.
as we scroll down the list.
I got a
7
number.
plus. I'm gonna say 13.
13. Dan, your guess was 15.
15, yeah.
Rick?
So the 7, and then I'm going to say there's 5 extra, so I'm going 12.
19. So I'll read them out.
let's go.
And it's
Give
a
me some
horrendous
names.
draft. Yakupov, Ryan Murray, Griffin Reinhart, Slater Cuckoo, Cody Cece, Henrik Samuelsson. That's the first round. Mitch Moroz, Pontus Aberg,
Pontus,
Anthony
good dude.
Stolarz, and Devon Shaw. That's the second round. Juju Curry was in the third. Daniel Zakharov,
Zhakov.
Eric Gustafsson, who they never signed.
Chicago,
Yep.
Brett Kulak, Andreas Anthonisiou, Joey LeLedger,
Yeah.
Seth Griffith, Josh McCarron, who never played a game, and Matt Bennon. Isn't that amazing?
Griffith's still with the squad.
Yeah, that
for him.
is
That is
a
amazing.
horrible class of players.
Oh, just collect the whole set.
Yeah, get them all.
Yeah.
May as well.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be more to
Linus
come. I'll ask
Ullmark
the
is from
same
that
question
draft
this
year.
time next year. Maybe I missed someone.
I'm going through again to make sure you didn't miss anyone.
I'm pretty sure that's it though. But Brett Kulak is the pick of that group. That is
I
for
bet I
sure.
see you.
Shout out to me for going over in this trivia game.
Yeah, maybe I made it a bit too difficult.
That is a difficult one.
This is Liam's wildly complicated and difficult tria.
You know how much spicy food we've had to eat this
Every
round?
Tuesday
Oh,
now.
I would have been having
Every Tuesday.
indigestion.
Oh, yeah, we've been hurting early.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe on more Tuesdays we can do more trivia. We got a lot of dead time coming up.
10 days coming up.
I like that. Well, I don't know how we could bring the podcast down after a riveting round of trivia,
You know, it could
but
be-
it's time for, damn it, Tyler, it's word association time.
Here we go.
I'm excited.
How many words you got? What's the order? I imagine you spent your entire week working on this.
I got 3.
Okay. What's the order?
Someone didn't have a bye week this week.
We'll go Liam, Rick, Dan, bagged milk.
Alrighty.
Seems like a different order than we usually do.
Hit me.
Describe Zach Hyman as a player in one word.
Cool.
All-star.
Truculent.
Versatile.
Amazing. It's hard to describe Zach Hyman. I was trying to think of a good word to describe his work ethic because he's just, or tenacious would be a better word.
Buzzing.
Ooh,
Tenacious would be a good word for Zach Hyman.
Olympian.
Was he?
No, but he could.
You will be.
Pugnacity.
Yeah, he's on my team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The fact the Oilers play 3 times in the next 14 days.
A boo.
Excruciating.
Snooze fest.
Depressing.
I'm going to put trivia because I guess we're going to have a lot more trivia over the next 2 weeks.
Maybe I'll bring in like chocolate trivia or something.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Little snacks.
Yeah.
Delightful.
How does that work?
I didn't hear what you said.
Yorkies.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got a whole.
Those
whole
of you who
case
have
of that
seen
home.
some video content from this episode know that we have a fresh line of Nation Gear hats
new
out
lids.
now. Oilers Nation lids.
Oats
Your
and-
favorite color of the new Oilers Nation lids?
Blue.
maroon.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I skipped the line. I'm going.
Gotta go maroon.
I'm saying blue as well.
They
You
look
get a
good.
nice shot of Liam in that one.
We got to talk about this because there's 2 Navy hats.
Yeah.
They're both like quote unquote Navy, but the colors are way different. The one I like, my eyes still hurt because I still think it looks black.
Well, I can't even participate this question because podcast confession, I'm colorblind between dark blue. Like I can see the difference between those 2 hats, but if they get a darker shade of navy, I cannot tell.
I'll
the
show
difference.
you one out there. Then
And that's why Bag Milk isn't a fighter pilot.
That's true.
Have you seen the Cleveland Browns hat?
Yeah, it's seriously.
That
Well,
makes
it's
me laugh.
technically it's the Jay Downton
Also,
true.
so on this brown one, is this all of them? It's pink and
brown
brown?
and pink,
That's green.
walnut and pink.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's a green hat.
that is
No,
walnut.
Liam, look at it closer,
That
buddy.
is walnut.
That's walnut.
This is riveting
But it's
podcast listening.
It's walnut and
Oh,
pink.
that is
yes.
pink.
We're
So
going to put these up on our socials so you too can
They're-
decide
yeah,
how
they should.
colorblind we are.
They should be dropping this week.
There you go.
Pretty cool.
They're dope.
Maybe I'll grab one. I don't have a nation
Did I
hat.
see that one?
There's also some. So these right here that you're looking at right now are the.
Just massive melon.
A lot of
Why
hair.
is it 2 dot?
Yeah, how many
Don't
pips
get a
you got?
haircut.
A lot of knowledge. That's how I come up with the trivia questions.
Liam is on the second
2
last
dots.
dot of the snapback.
What is your? What's your?
Stop shaming us big brain people, Tyler.
When I get a
What's your
hack,
go-to?
I'm 4.
5.
You're
I'm 7 3/8 is like my fitted headset.
5? 7 and
Holy
5/8 back in my day.
So when you wear a fitted, what do you wear?
I haven't
7
worn a
and
fit in a
5/8.
long time. Although we do have 3 fitted hats on. We're dropping as well.
Nationgear.ca. Get yourself a fresh lid. They look good.
Ooh, these fit.
They fit
real
nice.
They look real nice.
Did you bend the rim?
Just a slight tug on them. I might buy this one.
You're gonna have to now.
Yeah, you're going to have to. It's all sweaty.
Okay, I'll bend it back.
There you go.
He's just gonna sit on it.
How that works.
Tomorrow, we'll just wrap up the podcast real quick. Tomorrow, they're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets. Johnny Gaudreau back in town for the first time since the playoffs. I gotta give Flames Nation some credit for they were having a lot of fun with Johnny Gaudreau last night.
They were.
And it looked like a good time.
Hey, hats off to his teammates. When he touched the puck during practice,
that
they were
was
booing
funny.
him. I think that was hilarious.
Yeah. I love it. So
I do wish he'd scored though.
yeah, me too.
On that penalty
On that
shot.
penalty shot?
Yeah.
On the penalty shot.
Key to victory against the Columbus Blue Jackets tomorrow, Liam.
11-7.
Vic?
Just keep doing what you've been doing.
Tyler?
Score a lot of goals.
That'll do it.
Yep. Dan?
Outshoot the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I'm going to say you can't play down to him.
Just
tomorrow.
keep doing what you've been
Just
doing.
keep doing what you're doing.
That's exactly what I say in the room. All right, boys, get at it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Doing what you're doing. Score prediction, Liam.
5-3.
4-2 for me.
Empty net.
6-1.
6-1. I was just thinking 6-1 right
Dan?
now.
No, baby.
3-2 in overtime for the Oilers.
Let's go.
3-2.
There we go. The Tuesday episode of Oilers Nation Radio is wrapping up. I want to give a shout out to our friends at Betway, Tourism Jasper, Oodle Noodle, and also AMA Travel. If you want to come with us to Toronto, you can do that. But now that we've posted the Vegas recap video, trips are starting to move. If you want to come with us to Toronto, you got to get on it or you're going to miss out. And you're not going to come with the hangout with me and Tyler.
Then what are you going to do for that whole weekend?
You're going to feel like a real goose.
Yeah.
Nationgear.ca, get all the details for that trip, and shout out to our friends at AMA Travel for putting it all together. And most importantly, thank you for checking out the Tuesday episode of Oilers Nation Radio when there is not a whole lot going on this week.
Talked about chocolate and sandwiches.
Yep.
Booties.
Booties.
The word of the day is
Ham booty.
booty. There you
I'm
go.
excited.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week.